Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Hi, this is Gracie Howes with Pilma. Let's hit pause for just a second on this episode because I have to tell you about this event that every forward-thinking PI firm should have on their calendar this January. It's the AI for PI Expo in Orlando, Florida, January 15th through 17th. This is the very first conference of its kind dedicated entirely to showing personal injury firms how to harness AI to save time, cut costs, and grow faster. You'll get hands-on demos, practical training, and access to the best AI solutions built for law firms. Reserve your spot now at pilma.org/AI for PI Expo via the link in the show notes.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the pleasure and honor of having Jon and Marc. Guys, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Ken, super excited to be here. Good morning.
Yeah, so very briefly, each one of you, a little 2-minute encapsulation of who you are, what you do, and why is it important people should be listening to you today?
That is a great question, Ken. So Marc and I, we host the Jon and Marc Podcast. We love producing content about growth marketing for law firms. We also oversee the SEO division at CAMG. We work with, at this point, probably over 50 law firms across the country, mostly in the personal injury space. That's what we do right now. And we've been doing this for, over a decade. I got my start in legal marketing, running an agency in Orlando that built asbestos.com, drugwatch.com. So I've been in this space for a while. Love digital marketing for law firms and love coming up with new ways to help law firms grow.
Great. Marc?
Yeah, our background is extensive in pretty much all digital marketing, especially in the legal space. I think last year alone, we generated over 55,000 new clients for our clients. So, and counting. So well over the past 2 years from the teams that we've individually run. So we have kind of been knee deep in it, dealing whether it's mass tort marketing all the way to personal injury marketing and everything in between. So we just have a ton of experience. And my background actually comes from, Jon used to be my boss back in the day, but I come from a legal technology background. So I used to work at Salesforce, background in cloud technology, CRM systems, marketing systems. And then that's what brought me into the legal space, unfortunately working for Jon. And now we're kind of each other's left and right hand man running teams together.
I got you. So we're going to talk about marketing, since that is what you guys do. And that's what lawyers are always, the main question I get every time somebody calls me for a strategy session or has got a question is, how can I get more cases? How can I get more cases? I mean, everybody wants more cases. So what do you guys see has been the biggest changes in legal marketing for law firms in the last year or two? What do you see the big changes?
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the past 2 years. There's been a lot of changes in the past 6 months, and there's been a lot of changes in the past 2 weeks. I think that is the biggest change. The biggest change has been that we are constantly changing. And the way that people are finding law firms is changing very, very rapidly, and it's no longer going to be static. What used to be a very clear marketing strategy that your firm could commit to and execute over a longer period of time has become a moving target. And you have to go where the claimants are going to be. And that doesn't always mean the same place. TV firms can no longer just be TV firms. Digital firms can no longer just be digital firms. We're living in a world where your brand has to be somewhat omnipresent. And that in and of itself at its highest level, I think, has been the biggest change over the past couple of years.
Yeah, Ken, you're from the South like me. Like there used to be like honey holes in marketing that firms used to be able to generate for cases, but all those have pretty much dried up. It's competitive everywhere, whether it's a market or a channel. There's no single place you can go to be successful anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot more competitive, that's for sure. It's for sure. Like the fact that like John Morgan and a lot of this hedge fund money and equity firms are coming in and spending loads and loads more money. Do you see that as like a big challenge for law firms?
It's huge. The amount of money coming into the legal space and institutional money, using it as an investment, has absolutely changed the landscape. The advantage that firms that actually do the practice have over these other financial backed entities is that they know the market. And I think that it's really important for firms to lean into that as much as possible. Even if you have a big player like a Jon Morgan coming into a market, they are coming in as an outsider. And the more that you can lean into what you do in the local market, especially as we're dealing with brand visibility becoming so much more important, I think that is what gives local firms, regional firms, a big leg up against those big competitors coming in, because it's your space. You know it. You know how to navigate it. You know the people in the market. If you've done good things in the community, they're going to have an allegiance to you, and they're going to refer people to you. And that is, as you know, Ken, a huge avenue for business is repeat business from referrals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, past clients. 25 years ago, I was spending $2 million a year on advertising, and but still 42% of my cases came from referrals from past clients because I really worked it, and they were always my best cases. I mean, I did a lot of TV, did a lot of digital, but I still like they were easier to satisfy, they were easier to convert, and they were just better clients, I felt like.
Yeah,
Sure.
we all know that the cost per acquisition of an incremental case has been going up for a while. It is never really going to go down. It's just going to keep going up. And when you have players coming into a market who haven't been there very long, they're going to have to acquire cases in a way that is going to cost them more than it would cost you as a firm that's been in that market for a while. You know what works,
Yeah.
and you know what doesn't work. And usually what happens is when there's private equity money or a big player coming into a market that's backed with some sort of institutional capital, they are looking to acquire a lot of cases quickly because they're just looking at the bottom line. And when they're
Yeah.
acquiring those cases, it's their cost per acquisition is inevitably going to be higher than your cost per acquisition just being in the market.
Yeah.
It's been interesting too. There's been a new effect that's happened as well. So originally there was Morgan. Morgan was like the main antagonist coming into people's markets and be like, oh no, we just have to fight against them. And that kind of got kicked everyone's butt into shape to like get their marketing better, get their operations better. They have a lot more bigger competition coming in, so they need to get their act together. So that was like the first domino to fall. But this new thing has been happening where not only is Morgan coming into your market, every other major competitor that's in the states surrounding you is trying to come into your market now, whether it's a major city or not a major city. Every market is becoming competitive because the people that are in a state over that you never competed with have said, hey, screw this. We're moving to this city to get incremental expansion versus our existing markets.
Yeah. So I got a question. So, I've always preached for the last 20 years that, people refer you cases that know you, and they hire lawyers that they know, like, and trust. And then lately I've been putting in this other thing, and remember, you got to be memorable. What I'm saying is, because there's so much out there in digital, TV, radio, Facebook ads, everything, YouTube. I'm seeing this emerging deal where law firms are using catchy names like Sweet James and Big Top Dog and different things like that. What's y'all's opinion on that? And if you're thinking about doing that, if you're a lawyer and you've had this same URL and this same firm name for 10 or 15 years, it's going to hurt you a little bit, right? If you change everything. I mean, do you just say, forget about it, or you think it can't be done, or am I just off on a tangent somewhere?
No, this is a great question because we do deal with this a lot, right? Another example of this at a micro level is if two partners break up and they each go their separate ways, right? They now have to sort of redo each of their own brands. We deal with that a lot. Or if you get a new partner that joins a firm, all of a sudden, if their namesake has to get added to the brand, you're changing URLs, you're changing mentions across every entity that has referenced you all across the internet. It is definitely something to take deliberate action to make sure that you are appropriately acknowledging everywhere that you have a mention and trying to get those changed. But it's not impossible. Honestly, we've gone through 2 of these in the past quarter with our clients, and the end result is overly positive. In effect, the old brand has sort of lost its brand visibility anyway, right? Because you've started sort of moving in this other direction. So the
Right.
same thing can be said like for adopting like a new brand name, a Sweet James, a Top Dog, or something else. As long as you take deliberate action and you don't look at it as like a, in certain places I will use this brand and in other places I won't. You just have to say, this is my new brand. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to adopt it everywhere, both moving forward and also everything that exists in arrears for however long I've been in business. I need to go back and I need to make sure that all of those things are appropriately changed.
Looks like a daunting task with like all the damn, Google My Business pages, and I don't know. Looks like me and just the fact I know one of the, and I don't know SEO. You forgot more than I know about SEO, but I know that the length of a URL is kind of important a little bit. I don't know how important. Is it less important today than it was 5 years ago?
The length of the URL.
I mean, I'm talking about the length, how long it's been.
Oh, the age of the domain.
Yeah, age of the
Yeah.
domain. Yeah.
As long as you take the appropriate technical steps to send all the appropriate signals that say like, this is where I used to be and this is where I am now, and you do it more than just in one place. So if you've got listings on Super Lawyers and FindLaw, those, you could make it so that when someone clicks on it, it redirects to the new one. But what you actually want to do is actually go in and change it so it is the new one. And the more
Yeah.
signals you send, as quick as you can send them, the quicker you're going to get over that hump. And it really is it a daunting task to do? Yes. But if you do it correctly, it's not impossible. And it could be done in a matter of 30 to 60 days, all the appropriate
Okay.
signals sent, and you've adopted the new brand.
Yeah. So there's a piece of Google research that came out a couple of years ago, and they analyze how much marketing you need to do in order for someone to think of you right away without having to think when they want to make a decision, a buying decision. It's called the 0 moment of truth. So they said in order for it to be instantaneous that you go with this brand without thinking, like a Nike, you need 7 hours of engagement with that brand across at least 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms.
Is that per week or per month?
No, that's over the lifetime of engaging with the brand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, in order for you, for example, to think of, hey, if you're in a car accident and you're thinking of a personal injury lawyer, for you to think of it like the word Kleenex, you need to have 7 hours of engagement, 11 touch points on 4 different platforms. That could be a TV commercial, it could be a podcast, it could be Facebook, Instagram, but you need 4 different channels. And like lots of it for you to subconsciously make that choice that you know who that person is. It's almost like how you feel like when a celebrity dies, you feel like you know them and you're sad. It's because you've watched so many pieces of interaction with them on TV that you now feel like you know those people. So it's like thinking about branding in a whole different way. Whereas one 30-second commercial, it's like, how do you get all those cumulative touch points over the life cycle of your marketing so that you are the community events, in-person events, a ton of different things.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So, everybody's talking about AI. So a couple of things on this. I want to cover content creation, but I also want to talk about what you got to do. Do you see things changing in SEO to get found on like ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, things like that?
Yeah. Crack my knuckles and get ready for this one because it's a very evolving and changing space. So the first thing I'll say is ignore all of the buzzwords, right? GEO, AI, AEO, doesn't matter, right? The core principles of SEO, you got to still do those things first. Look at it as 3 tenets: content, technical proficiency, and external signals. You have to do all those things before, you have to do all those things going forward. Now, what has evolved, I wouldn't say it's necessarily changed. You have to do those things plus. So I like to just, in common syntax, I like to call it SEO plus. The other things that you need to be doing are you need to be making sure that all of the mentions of your business wherever they are and whether or not they include a backlink. Because the old way of SEO is thinking like, okay, I need to make sure like it's very backlink heavy. Backlinks still matter because ChatGPT does crawl what is actually showing up in the search results. But all of those other mentions of your brand, whether they happen on Reddit, whether they're someone mentioning you in a news article, whether they're a social media post, all of those mentions are now taken into account with regards to your AI visibility. There are obviously this whole like best of listicle strategy that everyone has been talking about recently, and making sure that you're mentioned as like a best of somewhere. Those things do matter. The thing that you need to do is you need to be very deliberate about making sure that the ones that are mentioning you actually have a real reason to be in them and figure out how to get in them. In each market, it's going to be different, and you need to do that analysis in your individual market. Another thing that has also changed is AI is not an index like search was before. Google had an index, and that index would have to recrawl your pages and then re-index them on a regular basis. So an update that you make today may not show up until later in the week. The backlink that you get today may not get baked in for another 2 or 3 weeks. With AI, it's all effectively near real time. So all of the AI models are trained on a certain data set, which is why you always see like the last ChatGPT model, I believe, went through May of 2024. I'm not sure the exact date, it may have been September 2024, but that's what its training set was on. If something is not referenceable within its training set, AI is going to go out to the open internet. It's going to, whether it's grabbing stuff through search or it's just crawling things itself, it's going to find the answers and bring it back. And when it's doing that all in real time when you're running your prompt. So the impact of changes that are being made can now actually have a positive or a negative impact very, very quickly, which allows us as SEOs to be able to test, to be able to iterate, to see what works, to see what's making the needle move in the right direction or not. There's a lot here. I would say like at its surface, like those are probably the biggest things that have evolved. But all the core tenets of SEO still absolutely apply, because where you rank in search is taken into account when an AI crawler is going and looking at the search results and pulling in responses.
Got it.
It's interesting too, because so for example, most of our SEO job until recently was just focusing on Google, right? Google search results is what we all cared about. But there could be an update that happened that either positively or negatively affected you. And then if it negatively affected you for some reason, that kind of weight was on the scale until the next update ran. And you kind of had to hopefully live through it. But now updates, like not updates, but when you're going through the AI model, your results could vary very quickly based on what's going on with your brand mentions across the internet in real time, where you're not getting kind of penalized. Well, if you're penalized by Google, that is still a factor that goes into the, into the AI models, but it's a lot more computing power pulling these for you for each individual search.
How about the content? I mean, I hear people say it both ways. I hear some people say, I can go on there and see where I need content, ask AI to do all this and tell me where I'm weak, gets my competition, and then it'll create some content in your voice if you feed it enough. Then I hear other guys say, hey, listen, it's always better to come from, for you to write it. Let it write your outline and then you write it. But, don't let it write it for you. I mean, what's y'all's take on that?
So AI should not be writing your content in its entirety. There are pieces of a page or an article that you can use AI to help you refine. We actually did a full podcast episode on this with a content manager from Moz, right? Moz is a thought leader in the SEO space. And she said, AI should be used to help you make the best content that you can make. It should not be creating the content for you. It can help you make better content. That is what we believe. The other thing is that AI doesn't know the things that it doesn't know. So if you don't give it the things that are unique about your firm, if you don't take the things that you have found from your clients that are extremely valuable and then feed it either into your content itself or take it and put it into AI to help craft something with the content, it's not going to know about it. Let's go back to what we talked about before, right? The AI models are trained on content from a certain date. So Either they're going to go out and actually grab stuff from the open internet, which already exists, and use it in your content, or it's going to take the stuff that's trained in its own model. If you're not using your own proprietary content, your own proprietary insights in what you're crafting, then yes, it can create content for you, but it's never going to wind up being surfaced anywhere because it's already referenced somewhere else on the internet. You are not the source. You are referencing someone else's source. You're actually helping to reinforce other entities that are already out there as opposed to making yourself stand out.
I tend to agree with you on that. I like to use it to make sure I'm not missing something, or come in and like I write articles for our magazine at Film, and I'll write the article, or, and then I'll say, hey, make this a little stronger, or make this, whatever. What am I missing?
Yeah, it's a great tool for brainstorming, for helping you find like weak points in when you're going through it, or come up with additional ideas that you can work through. It's great for you to do a lot of the writing or outlining, and then using it as like a ghost writer to help get your thoughts a little more polished for publication, but it's not doing the entire process for you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's Ken. That's how I use it too. I'll start pulling on a thread, and then I'm like, okay, I got something here. Then I'll start asking ChatGPT.
Sure.
And I personally some questions.
So we're getting the majority of it.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to ask you is pay-per-click and LSAs, local service ads. It was surprised. I actually talked to a lawyer today. He said, what are LSAs? And I'm thinking, man, where have you been? But I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's happening out there is more people dropping out of pay-per-click because it's so expensive in certain markets. I know certain markets, it's just crazy, like New York and LA, and then just going to local service ads, or is local service ads getting so crazy that it's even hard to make it on that?
So I'll give you insight from what we're seeing be effective. Local service ads, until they're not working anymore for you, take as much as you can get. We recommend all of our clients max out their LSA budgets as much as they can. It does work. And one of the biggest reasons why it's very effective is that the contact rate is effectively 100%, right? It's an inbound call most of the time, or it's a chat, which is also, communicating directly with a potential claimant. That is why the LSAs are extremely valuable. On top of the fact that they also, they show reviews, they show a photo, they're at the top of the search results. LSAs are great. Non-branded Google pay-per-click, I do not currently have any clients who are running at all. Literally none of them. It has gotten so cost prohibitive. The only thing that we have seen be very effective right now with traditional Google search ads is running brand, making sure that you protect your brand. As you move towards an omnipresence with your firm and you're advertising all over the place, and you're a guest on a podcast, and you're creating YouTube videos, and you're posting on LinkedIn, and you're doing Instagram, and you're doing Facebook ads, your brand, to Marc's point, needs to be seen everywhere. More people are going to be searching for your brand. What we have seen a lot of the lead generators do is capitalize on that and just start stealing those clicks. So they'll go to see who is very popular in a market, and they'll just buy those branded terms. You need to protect your own firm. They're inevitably going to cost you significantly less than a traditional non-branded Google ad to just bid on your own law firm. But you are basically playing defense and protecting yourself from everyone else who's trying to steal people who are looking directly for you.
I wouldn't even limit this to lead generators. It is major players in the market are all just doing it to all their competitors now. I've even seen some lawsuits. For example, there's one that was pretty public in Texas of two major players suing each other for bidding on each other's names.
Yeah, I think the state bar, I think from a legal standpoint, I think they can do it, but I think ethically, if the state bars would take hold of this, we could stop this. But state bars usually don't have a lot of sympathy for advertisers.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to bid on their name. You just can't put their name in the Google ad at anywhere in the company or the creative.
With this AI stuff, so avatars, I've seen some of our mastermind members are using avatars and basically creating something that looks like them, talks like them, and they're using it on a lot of their social media and their trainings and stuff. I mean, are you seeing that? Do you think that's going to be, because does anybody do that, or what's your take on that?
I have strong opinions against it.
Okay, why?
I have very strong opinions. I'm against it because I believe in this next phase we're going through, authenticity and real people is the competitive advantage to being successful. I think
Okay.
it's because it actually takes work and ethic to do it and to relate to people. And there's going to be so much AI slop out there that the people that are as authentic as possible, actually creating content, are the ones that are going to be successful.
That's fair. That's fair.
At some point, we won't be able to differentiate, and who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
But
I think you still can
right,
right now if you know the person, but
yeah,
if you really don't know the person, I think it's hard. It's getting a lot better. I mean, I tried to do an avatar 2 years ago. We had our first AI conference, and it really was terrible. It got my image, but it could not get my Southern drawl. It killed it.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I heard it's getting better and better.
it is. I started testing ChatGPT's new Sora 2. I got an invite to that, and it is good. But what it's missing is it's missing nuance, right? Everything is fluid. When we're having a conversation, there's natural pauses, there's an here or there, there's a thought, there's playing off of each other in a back and forth, and you can't get those things, at least not yet with Avatar.
there is
Yeah.
also a big security issue if you are a lawyer or anyone who is famous or runs a company. That if you create an avatar, you put a ton of training into it, and if you want to keep making it better and better, you have to make sure that that does not get into the hands of the wrong people, because now they're able to imitate you to the public sphere for whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So not only are you creating a clone of yourself, you have to make sure it's secure, that no one, a rogue employee who is deranged doesn't create some horrible things of you saying some racial slurs and put it out there. Because
Yeah.
by the time the damage is done, no one will be able to tell the difference whether it was you or AI that created it.
That's true. So what do y'all see in the next 12, 18 months? What do you think is going to be the biggest changes in marketing for law firms?
At some point, oh, so you're saying 12 to 18 months, Google's AI mode will become the default. I think the writing is on the wall. Google, even though they were a little bit behind ChatGPT in initial mass adoption of AI, it is my belief that Google will dominate this space in the future. I've seen it already start to move in that direction. ChatGPT comes out with like the first new technological advancement. Gemini adopts it, makes it better, and then provides mass adoption. I think people are still going to be used to going to Google. They're just going to go to Google in a different way. We're no longer going to be myopically focused on a single keyword ranking. It's going to be very much about how much real good work are you doing in the marketplace in helping people, and then amplifying that as much as you possibly can. 12 to 18 months, I mean, who knows, right? 2 weeks ago, we didn't have Sora 2. Chat GPT is only a year and a half old. Like, it's very hard to prescriptively say, like, this is where we think it's going, but it is going to move faster. It is going to be more widely adopted, and traditional search and the user journey as we know it is going to be completely changed as we look forward 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, a couple of big predictions that I have is, I think brand, like for example, how they have influencer and brand deals today with like consumer goods. I think that's going to happen more and more as we move into the space. I think that the firms that will succeed the most are the ones that start doing a lot more marketing to the part of the market that doesn't know that they can hire a lawyer. Everyone's currently battling for that bottom of the funnel person who's injured.
The 60% of the people that don't want to hire a lawyer are going to be the ones that law firms are going to start focusing on more, because the competition for that 40 to 50% is just going to continue to get more and more aggressive and become more and more cost prohibitive.
And do you think great way to do that would be through educational based marketing? What I'm saying is, I would think I've always been I was a proponent of this 25 years ago. I think the more you can educate people, the more you show your knowledge and the more you help them and the more they think you really give a shit. I don't know. That's just my take on it, but I got no data to back that up. This is my gut.
No, it's 100% true, right? Like, think about the person who got in an accident and the insurance adjuster is coming out to look at their car, right? That insurance adjuster may be asking you some questions that may inform the overall claim, right? If they're saying, hey, how you feeling? Oh, I'm doing a lot better, right? I went to the doctor, I'm doing, oh, they're going to notate that and they're going to use that against you. If you can help that person understand what it's like to go through that insurance adjustment claim process and teach them the things that they need to say or not say, which literally don't say anything, right? you are showing the value in hiring you, especially because lawyers exist in a marketplace where they all effectively cost the same. So the differentiation comes in education. It comes in being compassionate, in more of the intangible things too, that you just can't get in like, hey, like direct response, right? Call me now for your free case review.
Back to the know, like, and trust.
Yes.
Like you, trust you. I think they did a big study about 15 years ago. Approachability and trustworthiness were like the two big deals. People that they kind of triggers where they would hire a lawyer.
And back in the day, there's only one or two or three lawyers to choose from in your market. And now in each market, there's, good options over a baker's dozen. You know what I mean? How do you differentiate it if you're just a regular person?
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to end it with this question. What's a great marketing book you've read you would recommend somebody to read?
Jon, you can go first. I'm looking at, I have my library of books above me over here and over here, but I'll go, Jon, go first.
So this is where Marc and I differ. I am not a book reader. I consume my marketing content in microdoses. I let the algorithms work for me. So I'll engage with the things that I think are really valuable, and I'll have it serve me more of it.
Right.
I'm constantly following everybody who I can outside of the legal industry to understand what's working there, and then figuring out how to apply it to the legal
Smart.
space.
That's smart.
I would say not a book, but a product you can buy called Storyteller Tactics.
I've got that.
Yep. Great. Hit up with an Instagram ad. Definitely worth the money. Good tool when I need some brainstorming. And then I would say, not my favorite marketing book, but hands down my favorite marketer today. He has an incredible YouTube channel. His name is Caleb Ralston. Caleb. Ralston is, I think, Ralston. He is probably the best personal brand marketer in the market today. And he puts out all of his content for free. He put like multiple hour courses all online for free, like gives away all the secrets. And he ran Gary Vee's team. He did the Hormozis for a while. He's fantastic. If you want to consume some content, Caleb Ralston is hands down my favorite right now.
Okay. All right. If people want to talk to you guys, how's the best way to get up with you?
Yeah. So we spell our names uniquely. It's Jon, Jon, and Marc, Marc. So you can go to jonandmarc.com. There you'll see links to our podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel, where we're posting not only our podcast, we do a weekly series on the changes in mass torts. You can follow us on Instagram. Everywhere we are, it's Jon and Marc, JONandMarc.
And then if you want to work with us directly on any marketing efforts, it's Jon R at cmginc.com and Marc R at cmginc.com for any direct SEO work or working with us through the agency.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you, if not before, in May at our summit, because I know you all be there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks,
All
Ken.
right. Thanks,
Ken.
Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.